Hey, good morning, everyone. This is the Big with Leanne show where we believe in empowerment through connection. And I'm just going to apologize up front. We're having a little bit of internet connection issues. So if it's choppy or delayed, um, I don't have any control over that. And my guest today, Nicky, is all the way from France. So I'm super excited to have her, and we're going to discuss the journey from head to heart. She's an emotional release coach, amongst a whole list of brilliant things that I'm going to let her share. And we met on Facebook. I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook through a podcasting group that Sam Crowley, a group that we're both part of, and we've just kind of gotten to know each other a little bit there. So we've never physically met, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. But Nicky, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can give a nice introduction to yourself and the work that you do.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me, Leanne. So just let everybody know, I'm not French, even if I live in France. I moved to France 20 years ago, 2001, and it was my childhood dream, really, since I was a little girl. It was really the place I wanted to be. And that took me on, from being a girl, it took me on a real journey to the soul. I think my reason for being here was that. And I'm ready to move back. Now I've done my journey. I'm moving back to France, moving back to the UK in August. So that'll be a big venture for me. And then my soul journey over here took me really from Reiki, being introduced to Reiki in 2011 and becoming a Reiki master in 2013. And then from then, that's when the journey really happened, when my goodness, I can't even begin to think all the different things I picked up on the way. But it took me to now as where I'm really working with people to release trapped emotions that really help them block them on their journey to their soul. And doing that through energy healing and creative workshops.
Yeah, beautiful. So did you have a personal moment that really took you into the deep dive into the inner work? Was there something that you experienced, or was it more of a gradual thing?
Oh my goodness. No, it was a big thing. Around about 2012, I got into a lot of money problems, and financially very, very difficult. And that really took me into the depths, really into the depths of my soul. And during this moment, as we all do, going through fear of, would I lose my house? Would I lose my children? And it really took me onto a journey of letting go of fear, of really bringing in the gratitude. And I think that was the richest time really for me to really, fill my toolbox with so many techniques and tools to help other people. And it was during that journey that I realized that everything I was going through wasn't necessarily for me. It was really for what I'd be doing with it. It was a massive moment. I mean, I remember at one time, almost just crying on the floor, thinking, what am I going to do? And there were a couple of really aha moments through this that I remember thinking, okay, I'm really frightened. What am I frightened of? And I realized I was really frightened of losing my house, or losing my children. So I thought, okay, I've got to go into this fear. And so I really went into it. And I think this is a great technique for people really facing such huge fear, is to really, face it head on and say, I'm frightened. What am I frightened of? And so, it got to be that, okay, my children, well, their father can look after them. So that was my children. I thought, okay, that's one thing. Okay, now what about me? I lose my house. Well, I'm sure, I could stay at a friend's house until I found my feet, So it's like, well, what am I frightened of? And from that moment on, things really began to turn. And then a little bit further down the path, it was going very, very slowly turning, but I was just like, that's it, I've had it. And I remember stopping my car and just like closing my eyes, like, okay, universe, just help me, I'm just fed up with this. And this image came to me in my head saying, Nicky, let go of the handlebars. And I had this image of being on a bicycle, and the angel saying, or universe, or whatever you want to call it, was saying, look, you're wanting to go left. We're trying to get you to go right. You're going to fall off. So just pedal, just put in the energy and let go. And from that moment on, that was the big one. I really knew then you just have to, just let yourself be guided.
That's a beautiful story, and I myself also had a pretty big event or traumatic event about 13 years ago that I'd been on kind of the spiritual journey, diving within before that, but it was a turning point in my life where I felt like it was sink or swim. That if I didn't do a deeper dive, that I didn't know if I would come out of the ocean, and I knew that I had a voice or calling for my soul that said, Leanne, you need to do your work to be an example and to help others. And so as hard as it was back then at that time, I made an important decision that no, I'm going to do this work and I'm going to move forward. And it's scary. And that fear thing is really real. And I know, like a lot of moms, like you go from the thought of, oh, my son hasn't called or checked in, and all of a sudden your brain is going, oh, he must be in a ditch. Oh, if he's in a ditch, he must have been in a wreck, and he hurt him. He's not alive, and neither are others. Your brain goes right to that worst case scenario situation. And so I love what you shared of, like, facing that, and then just asking the realness of that. Like, oh, does it have to be that he's in a ditch? Oh, it could be that his phone died, or you can just go straight to, what? I don't know if any of this is real, so I'm going to give it to God, or whomever your higher power, and I'm going to rest in faith that all is well. And instead, for many of my life, I just kind of ignored anything that was coming to me. So before I went on a really deep dive, I'd be like, oh, I can't feel fear. Nope, I'm just going to ignore everything. And then my life felt a bit like a Groundhog Day because the same situations kept coming up and coming up. And I had a discussion last night with another energy worker. So you're my second, energy worker that we're kind of having this discussion. So a lot of us are afraid of our feelings. So I love that you just gave a simple exercise, and I'm sure you have some other ways to deal with. A lot of us grew up with not addressing our feelings, that they were bad, that emotions are bad, blah, blah, blah. So do you have some words of wisdom around that topic?
Well, it's for me that there's no emotion that is bad or good. Every emotion is just an emotion, and I work a lot with energy, and emotions are just really a vibration, so a lower vibration or a higher vibration. And so everything we need to be doing is to be raising that vibration away from the lower emotions. And we're going through those moments is not to ignore them, because when we ignore those negative feelings and just shove them under the carpet, at one point we end up tripping up. So it's working with them, whether that's through energy healing, through releasing them, or as I do with the creative and intuitive painting, it's dealing with them right there and going into them and really finding what this is, and not to ignore it if they really come up. And as you said about situations of facing things head on, that there's situations that again, it's not a good or a bad situation, it's just a situation. And what am I learning from this? And when I go through a very difficult period of my life or a difficult situation, I really think, okay, what is the lesson? What am I learning from this? How am I growing? And that really helps us to see through see through like the woods. I thought that I thought that some weird music coming on.
I forgot to put my phone on silent. One of those mornings.
Mercury retrograde, as we said.
Right. Well, and I noticed some of your beautiful paintings in the back. So is that some of your work or your clients' work?
It's all my work. That's all they're my favorite, actually. Yeah. So all that I do with my paintings, I have no idea what I'm going to paint. When I arrive at the canvas is just, I just don't know where I'm going to go. And it's really, really about following intuition and just going with it. And these are the paintings that just happen at the end. That there's one moment when I think, okay, this is it, it's done.
And
But
so for those of us who have, well, creativity comes about in many different ways, and I have zero artistic ability. I draw stick figures, and but I do a lot of handwritten notes and things, and I've realized that for many years of my life, I thought I'm a Pisces, and so I'm supposed to be really creative, but I had my own definition of what that meant, and so I thought that, well, I guess I missed that boat. But I've realized creativity can come out in speaking, it can come out in writing, it can come out in many different ways. So if someone's like, well, I'd love to work with Nicky, your energy feels good, but I'm not a painter. What other ways do you work with your clients?
in actual fact, doing it, intuitive painting, it's almost better if you have absolutely no technique at all, because I'm anti-technique, and I love to work with people who haven't painted either ever or going right back to school, who don't have the talent, because it's not about painting something. It's not like at school when, okay, I want to paint you, I want you to paint a house or a car. I'm really helping you to get in tune with your intuition. So when a client comes to me, sometimes that blank canvas can be a real fear thing. Oh my God, I've got so much white in front of me. So I tell them either, take a color that inspires you and just completely cover the whole canvas with that color, so there's no more white. That it's we now have a base. Or just to do 2 or 3 strokes. Don't think about it. Just put a few marks on the canvas, so you've already connected to the canvas. And the way I teach my clients is we're painting in layers. Each of my paintings have at least 10, 15 layers under them. But in a session, it won't be so many as that. So we paint one layer, and when we feel that layer is finished, we dry it with a hairdryer and paint on top of it. And then we keep going more and more and more. And the first 2 layers, we really are up in our head. It's really up here. Oh my God, are these colors going together? I don't know what to do. I'm being stupid. And we get all these beliefs coming up. But as we start to paint over that, the unconscious starts going, well, does it really matter? Because she's going to paint over it. I know what's going to happen. So in actual fact, I can do whatever I want because it's going to get covered and nobody's going to see it. And this is where the letting go comes in. And during this process, when we start to let go, it's when the soul starts coming up to speak. And encourage the client to take a picture of each layer as they're doing it, because it starts to create a story. And I also get them to use, if they're with me in person, it's not always the case when when it's over online, is to take essential oils as well, eyes closed, and we take a couple of essential oils and put drops of essential oils in the painting. And we keep going oils in the paints and keep layering up, and the clients begin to see images that start coming up, or emotions start coming up. I've had clients who be really happy 1 minute enjoying the process, and then all of a sudden they just burst into tears as the emotions are being released, and then they work through it. And at the end, there will be a time when they, okay, this is it, I've released everything I need to release. And with the images of the painting, we also look at the essential oils and the emotions behind it. And the oils almost translate the painting. It's almost like creating a film from a book. And it is just like, it blows my mind every time what happens.
Yeah, very beautiful. And I know, the senses, opening up the senses, really helps open up the soul. And in the unique times that we live in now, I think more people are being called to awaken their soul. We've lived in a very head oriented world for a very long time, and that's important to have the head involved in some things, but having the heart and soul. And I love what you wrote. We've become overgrown with weeds and we're blocked by obstacles, and we all can relate to that. But now, in these times that we're in now, time, well, for me personally, time is moving. I really have like zero sense of time now. It's like that's been kind of happening over the last couple of years, but now and so that release of time helps open the soul and allows me to be in this present moment. And in the present moment, you can really tap into that soul environment where even with chaos going on, you still can have flat tires and world crisis, but you can be at peace in your soul, and operate from there, because we make better decisions when we're at peace versus when we're in that fear, anxiety mode. And so that's what I found really, I'm using improv as kind of my creative outlet, and to be in the present moment and to be in that playground where it really taps into that childhood experience when we all, well, I shouldn't say all, but most of us felt pretty free and happy. And, we would make mud pies and we would draw pictures and we didn't care what anybody thought about them. And then as we get older, we start learning judgment and, trying to fit in. And then we just get so afraid of being ourselves that then we just block who we're really meant to be. And so, I think the work that you do is beautiful, because it just helps people discover their, who they really are. And, everything they need is already inside of them. And we need everybody to be who they were meant to be. We don't need a clone of myself or you. We need everybody to step into their own greatness, into their own soul, because they have a gift to offer the world. And we want to keep that, we want to open that gift. We don't want to keep it boxed up and in the dark corner of the closet because you feel shameful about it, or whatever your feelings are, and wherever they came from, it doesn't really matter. A lot of times our experience around something comes from someone said something to us that they didn't even mean it as harmful, but we took it very personal and then created a whole story around it.
My goodness. And it's so true, though, going back to what I said about the weeds. When we start out in life, this path, the path that we're walking through our life, it's under our feet. And with time, we feel somewhere, we can feel that path under our feet. We know it's there, but we cannot see it anymore, because, as I said, there's so many weeds, the bushes have overgrown, there's boulders and dust that have landed on the track, but we can feel it's there, but we just can't see it. So people tend to get lost on the way. And it's really about clearing the weeds, has been like the limiting beliefs, and the boulders being the trapped emotions that really stop our way.
Yeah. And the idea of bringing someone in like yourself, or whomever they decide to work with, is that I believe that ultimately the work is up to us to do, but we all, coaches and, business mentors, and, we're not meant to be in this world alone. And so for myself, being a type A personality, asking for help or thinking I need help was always like a sign of weakness. And then I finally realized that, no, that's a sign of courage, that if you're willing to reach out your hand and ask for that assistance, because it's not only a gift for myself, but it's a gift to the person that you're working with. And then you, because it's hard to see your own life. So sometimes you need that outside vision to see the things that you have blinded yourself to. They're there, but you have just go, no, I'm not looking at them. So for me, that's the value of having that circle of that support system that you can tap into.
Yeah, so much. And even if we're not blinking, but sometimes we just can't see, well, where's my path gone? It's like we're walking the countryside, we walk along, well, where's it gone? I can't see my path. And and I think so many people right now, you're talking about this moment, obviously, that the world is going through. And so many of my clients right now, a lot are on crossroads, but there's also a lot that's literally sat on a roundabout. That's what it feels, that people are just sat on this thinking, I don't know which direction to take, I can't make the decision, there's fog, I can't see the way. And so that everything I do is really helping to clear that, and to help people choose it their own way, and to choose the road. And there's no right or wrong road, it's just choose a road.
Yeah, because as long as you're sitting on the sidelines, you're sitting on that not making a decision. You're still making a decision, and you can't learn anything about yourself because, like you said, there's no right or wrong decision. It's just you're just movement, and in that movement, you discover more about yourself. And if you put your glasses of awareness on, and you just look at your, I always say, like, be your own private investigator. So kind of look at your life as if you're investigating it, and see if you can find, the common threads that, like, you keep banging into the same obstacle again. That's a good sign that there's something in there for you to work on. If you keep banging up against the same wall, then it's something for you to look at. So, and that's the simple first step for everybody, is just decide that they want to be aware. Would you agree with that?
And yeah, but sometimes it is actually really hard, because at that, that point where we're just sitting at this roundabout on the crossroads, because we've already been on a journey, sometimes we just need to pause and to take stock. And I think this is where, like, things like energy healing can come in, because those aware glasses, I've so often said that with, my emotional release and emotion code, it's like cleaning glasses. We've put the glasses on, but they're so dirty, we can't see. And, I come along with emotion code, and through that, I release the negative trapped emotions in that person's life. And it's literally cleaning the glasses. And it'd be like days and weeks later when people are, oh my God, now the decision's so clear, I can see it. And that's a real magic, because it really does happen that people come to me like, I can't make the decision. So we literally remove the boulders. And it's like, we're going along this path, this beautiful country path with all these weeds. And then we've come up with all these rocks and boulders that have almost created this wall. And then we just cannot get through it. And we start taking them off one by one. And then, it becomes so much clearer. And
Yeah.
it's those emotions from the past where we've been through difficult moments and really get blocked in our energy field. And that they really do create a wall, or dirty our glass.
Right. And on the other side of those dirty glasses, for each individual, there's going to be unique and beautiful gifts for them. We're all not meant to travel the same roads. So, drop the comparison, the judgment of, what you think a spiritual or awakened person should look like, or, what it doesn't matter what you're doing in life. And that was a hard one for me to kind of come to terms with. I thought I had to, like, become some big public figure or something to be able to make a difference in the world. And that's not true. I can make a difference in my life and in the world every day. Even when I go to the grocery store, I can choose to be kind and call the cashier person by their first name, and just give them, a bit of inspiration and a bit of love. So for me, that was a huge aha, that I was like, no, I just have to be me. Or I get to be me, not have to. I get to be me, and I get to be all of me, and I get to be all of me in such a free way that, I was put here for, a reason. And so were you, Nikki. And so is, Paul, who's joining us live, and different people. And it's all very unique. So that's, kind of my one thing that I want to add is, if you're watching this live or catching the replay, your journey is your journey. And own it and be proud of it, and, and tweak it along the way.
But we're all like little trains going along to a little train station, and everyone has their own track. And we cannot, we don't get off one train and I wish I was on somebody else's train, because they're going to a different place than we are. And, back with the train, it's like people get on that train, they come off the train. Some people with us on one stop, some people be with us on the whole journey. And I really think, that we're all trying to be something, or we're all looking for this path or this mission that's outside of it, but it's not. I've really found, especially, I really think now I'm really on my path, and I realize that everything I'm doing, it's just part of what has always been me. It's always been part of me inside. And it's like, through all the healing we're doing, or whatever, the self-discovery, it's literally like chipping away at the outside, like the probably the suit of armor that we've used to rediscover the person that's within. And it's often just sharing the gifts that we've always had within us, but because we've always had them, we don't realize how special they are. We don't realize that they are what makes us unique. We just think, well, isn't everybody like that? But it's not. It's how we are. inside, and it's revealing the inner self. And as you say, it's it's such a domino effect. It's just being this lighthouse and just shining the light on wherever we are. And if it's, smiling at somebody in the street, or just saying, speaking to the cashier by her first name, that can be so special for that one person. And it can actually, change their energy, change their mood, so that when they go home, they're going to be nice to the whole family because somebody called by a first name. And then it's such a beautiful, beautiful effect.
Yeah. Yeah. And
They call it the butterfly effect.
yeah, the little things in life seem
I
to
think
me.
we have it.
And I think maybe the universe is telling us we should wrap up the conversation, because I think we're totally losing the connection. Nikki, what final words do you have for our audience today of just, one thing that they can put in their toolbox today that would help them have a more joy-filled day?
Gratitude. I really think gratitude, it's so simple. And it got me out of a lot of dark places. It shifts our energy, it shifts our vibration. It helps us appreciate to really what's around there. And whether, for me, it was one time I was blackberry picking, and for every blackberry I took, I said thank you to the universe for something. Or, every step you take to the bathroom, for each those, that moment, say thank you. And just being really grateful for what you have, because you really see that the world is such a beautiful place.
Yeah, well, that's my favorite topic of gratitude. So thank you for ending the show with a powerful message of gratitude, and I really appreciate you being here today. And I have Nikki's information up on the screen, so if you want to reach out to her on Facebook or her website, just connect with her, have a conversation with her, see if she's a good fit for you, or just follow her on Facebook and learn more about her. And we're in this together. So whether you're in the UK, France, United States, or wherever you're listening from, we send everyone lots of love and light today. And we really appreciate you being here today. And we will, I'll be back on again. And I know Nikki's doing a podcast, and she does lots of fun things too. So you can find out more about what she does. And, for me, you know where to find me. And everyone have a fantastic day. And just lots of blessings to you. Thank you, Nikki.
Yeah, thank you so much, Leanne. Thank you.